Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning into another video. So today we are going to discuss the fancy shaped bracelet. Yes, we'll be talking about this, and this will be segment knotted. So everyone asking for a large segment knot, this is it. Now because of this is not a beginner pattern. I would suggest you know how to make shaped bracelets and shaped starts. I will link some videos in the down box if you don't know how to do that. So first things first today, we're going to need a pair of scissors. Of course, we're working with string. We're also, secondly, going to need something to anchor your bracelet. I'll be using tape today, but a safety pin, clipboard, all work fine. Thirdly, we are going to need 8 different colors of string, sort of. 6 colors are going to be visible in your pattern, and if you're looking at the pattern, you'll see 2 additional colors. They're placeholders. So I'm going to substitute in this beige color. I suggest you pick something that matches your color scheme because it will be seen on the edge of the bracelet. So I am going to leave the list of everything I am cutting here so you guys all cut the right amount of string, and I do wingspan, so those numbers will be conducive to that. With strings cut, I've gone ahead and made a closed loop, and I've got my strings sectioned in 2 groups here, preparing to start a triangle beginning where you see the red arrow here. If you don't know how to do this, I'll link some videos like I said, Masha's shape bracelet tutorial and Alex's innovations, how to make a triangle beginning for any bracelet. I think those are both great videos and resources before you step into this. So on the right hand side, I've taken my dark blue, I did a backwards knot over the entire group of strings, and I'm going to do the same on the left hand side, doing a forwards knot. Once these strings have knotted and they're in the center, if you're trying to go through this without knowing how to do a shape tutorial or a shape start, you're going to leave them. So that minty green string is going to do a backwards knot over the large group, excluding the blue because this is how we're merging our strings in to make that triangle start. On the left hand side, I am going to do the exact same thing with a forwards knot over the whole group, excluding that dark blue color. And then, as you may notice, switch back to the right hand side, you got it, and using our dark blue, we are going to do a backwards knot over the entire group minus the 2 strings we knotted with to bring our dark blue into this circle or the triangle. I don't know. Then on the left hand side, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to pull that dark blue out of the group and do a forwards knot with it over the entire group of unknotted strings. This is pretty simple. And I'm sorry if my voice gets kind of weird or I cough at all, guys. I've been sick, so I've been kind of waiting to do the voiceover on this, and it's been a hot minute since we posted. It's been like a month. It's ridiculous. I'm so sorry. But hopefully we're back now. Hopefully we're back. Oh my gosh, I wanted to post so bad. All right, now still on the left side, I've grabbed out the light pink and we're going to do a forwards knot with it into the center. Now on the right hand side, we're going to do the exact same thing with the light pink. We're going to pull it out. We are going to do a backwards knot over the whole group. So we bring that string into the center as well. Next on the right hand side still, I'm going to grab this beautiful dark turquoise string. I love this color. It is like mwah, chef's kiss, beautiful. So if anyone is wondering, I have a mix of strings in this bracelet because in a normal bracelet, it doesn't matter as much. So the dark blue that I'm using is actually DMC, like the last skein I have of DMC. The beautiful turquoise color you see here, the mint green, as well as the beige are all J&P coats. They're J&P coats singles, which seem to be different than what everyone else is getting in packs. Shine wise and stuff. And then the pinks are all loops and threads. So in case any of you were wondering. Next up, we're going to do our dark pink. So on the right hand side, that's a backwards knot into the center. And on the left hand side, it's a forwards knot. And at this point, this is as far out as we are going to expand. Because if we look at our diamond shape, the next space out is the purple string. But that's when our knot turns around, our dark blue knot will knot onto it and turn around and come back in. So if we bring out the purple string as well, we're going to have to add knots. if that makes sense. You'll see as we go here. So we've only gone out to pink, and then the whole bundle of strings on our sides will act as the purple string. So you don't want to expand all the way out. You want to expand out to one before that last string. So now at the top of our diamond here, we should have a blue knot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knot my two dark blue knots together. They're blue and blue, doesn't matter how you knot them. And at this point, this whole right hand side of our bracelet is going to be a dark blue line, essentially a candy stripe. So we're going to take my dark blue string and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knot it all the way down, just doing forwards knots over all of these strings. So first that's the mint green, then the dark blue, and so on until we reach that outer grouping, and we're going to do a forwards backwards knot at that point. So like I said, when we reach the end of this row, our whole group of string is going to act as what would be the purple string in the pattern. So we're going to do a forwards backwards knot over the entire group. And now I think you can kind of see if we had pulled the purple string out, like what would we do with the group on the outside? You know what I mean? All right. Now, because we're segment knotting and we've got some parallel stripes going on here, this makes this super easy to segment knot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this first mint string off the left-hand side because it runs down the length of the blue stripe we just did. So it's going to do forward knots as if it was a candy stripe. There we go. All the way until we hit our dark pink string, at which point that color needs to turn back and come in. So we're going to do a forwards backwards knot, but we'll get there when we get there. We're just doing forwards knots right now down the length of our blue stripe. Okay, and now we've reached that dark pink I was talking about earlier. So our green string is going to do a forwards backwards knot over that so that it comes back with our blue string for the inner part of the diamond, or the closing part of the diamond, I should say. But again, we've got parallel stripes here. So I'm going to hop back over to the left-hand side and I'm going to grab that dark blue string that encases our mint color. So again, this is going to carry down the length of our green stripe here until we reach the dark turquoise string. So let's go ahead and just forward knots, super simple, like a candy stripe, until we reach that dark turquoise string. All right, so now we've reached our dark turquoise string. We are going to do a forwards backwards knot. What this allows us to do is line up all of our stripe colors, so our dark blues and our light greens, for the decrease of our diamond that we'll get to in just a moment. Now on the left-hand side, we're going to take the dark blue that's at the top of this inverted chevron space that we haven't knotted yet. And that dark blue is going to do its stripe. If we look at our pattern, it's a lot of stripes. So this dark blue is going to do backwards knots over that light pink string, then the dark turquoise, the dark pink, until it reaches the outer grouping. And that, again, of course, is indicated in the pattern as just a plain old purple string. So we've done our backwards knot here over the pink knot, and now we are going to do a backwards forwards knot over the entire group of string on our left hand side, which again in the pattern is indicated by just a purple string. Now, because green doesn't come without blue in this pattern, we're going to go back and we're going to grab the mint string that's again at the top of our inverted chevron where we haven't knotted yet. And that green is going to do a backwards knot over the light pink, the dark turquoise, and then it's going to do a backwards forwards knot over our dark pink. I actually really love this color combo. I think it looks really good, and I'm quite happy because I was going through scraps for this, guys. Well, not scraps, but like kind of like the last little bit of my string. So I have new string now, thank the Lord, but that's where we're at. Anyways, next we're going to take our dark blue string. That's again in our decreasing inverted chevron, which we have not knotted. And it's going to do a backwards knot over the light pink and then a backwards forwards knot over that dark turquoise. At this point, we're going to need to start bringing our diamond back in, but to do that, we have to have something to knot around. So with our two light pink strings, we're going to knot them together. Forwards, backwards knot, backwards, forwards knot, forward or backward knot, doesn't matter. Pink is pink, so any way you knot it is fine. And then we're going to encase our little pink knot in the dark blue. So hopping over to the right side here, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do a backwards knot over the light pink string. And then we're going to hop over to the left-hand side and I'm going to take that dark blue string again and do a forwards knot over our light pink string, which brings our little baby inverted chevron together with two dark blue strings, which will finally encapsulate that little pink knot. So any way you knot it, that's the way we like it. We know that here. And then we're going to hop over to our right hand side, and because every blue stripe has a green stripe next to it, we're going to take our minty green color and we're going to follow with backwards knots down the length of that little diamond. So this is going to go backwards knot over the dark turquoise and the light pink, and then it's going to stop at that point. So we're going to go back to the right hand side and grab that dark blue color, and that dark blue is going to do a backwards knot over the dark pink color, the dark turquoise color, the light pink color, excuse me guys, and then we will stop there so we can pull in the other side of our little diamond here. Now popping back over to the left hand side, we're going to grab our minty string and we're going to do forwards knots over our dark turquoise, our light pink, and the dark blue to, I guess, encapsulate our dark blue string, because again, parallel stripes. We like this kind of pattern. It is very easy to segment knot. And at this point, we are going to stop, and because I want to complete a full like chevron shape so I don't forget any knots, I'm going to jump to our dark blue here, and I'm going to do a forwards knot over the right hand mint green. And while I have it in my hand, I'm going to carry that over the dark blue string as well. So really you can see with segment knotting, there isn't really a proper technique or rhyme or reason. It's just kind of what you feel like follows the pattern. So popping back over to the left hand side, that mint needs to be closed in by another dark blue. So our dark blue on the left hand side is going to do forwards knots over the dark pink, the dark turquoise, and the light pink, as well as the dark blue. All right, so because we need to finish this little twisted diamond shape so we can start decreasing our shaped bracelet here, this minty fresh string is going to tie over the other minty fresh string. Any way you want it, that's the way you got it. Any way you need it. No? Okay. And then our minty fresh string is going to continue its little stripe and do a forwards knot over the right hand side dark blue. And then because a green should never be left open, it should always be encased by the dark blue, we're going to hang out on the left hand side of the pattern, grab that dark blue string. It's going to do a forwards knot over the mint color and the dark blue color as well. And now we've got our nice little diamond shape. We just need to actually shape this now. So starting on the right hand side, taking my dark pink string, I am going to do a forwards backwards knot. Now technically you could just do a forwards knot and add it to the group, because we're keeping them in the group when we decrease, so we can pull them out randomly later. It really doesn't matter until we get to the innermost one, and I'll explain that when we get there. Now my dark turquoise, I'm also going to do a forwards backwards knot with this. And now we've reached the light pink string, and this is what gave my brain a little twist the first time I did this pattern. Why, you ask? Because if we look at our pattern, the light pink string needs to decrease to get to our innermost dark blue knot, but we also need it to knot on immediately afterwards. So this innermost string has to do a forwards backwards knot, because we need to knot on that pink string as if it has never been a part of the large bunch, if that makes sense. So do a forwards backwards with your light pink, and when we're on the side, we might as well start expanding for our next diamond. So now using my dark turquoise, I've gone ahead and I have done a backwards knot to bring that string back into the center. I'm doing the same with the dark pink as well. And this twist we expand out further than the last one. So we're going to now, excuse me, we are going to pull our purple string out this time around, and it is going to do a backwards knot as well over that entire group. And then a placeholder. In the normal pattern as well as my variation, I have left that as this lovely neon green color, but in reality I'm using this beige, as I said. And then I am going to not do what I just did. Like I said earlier, don't go to the outermost string. I knotted the pink and then I come back to it later, so you will see it here, but do not knot that light pink string, okay? You'll just have to undo it. On the left hand side, we're going to do the decrease. So we're going to do a backwards forwards knot with our dark pink, and then with our dark turquoise, we are going to do a backwards forwards knot. And then with our light pink, we are going to do a backwards forwards knot as well, again, because it is our innermost string. Now, similar to the expand, you want to go one before that actual inner bend or outer bend. So the light pink string needs to be, excuse me guys, I'm so sorry, a backwards forwards knot, because we need that string immediately. As you can see here, we're going to take the dark blue string on that left hand side and do a backwards knot over the light pink string. So you can see if you had it in the group, you would have to do an extra knot to pull it out and get it properly in the working strings. So it needs to be already there to be workable. Does that make sense? Yes? No? I hope so. Okay, so then on the left hand side, let's do our expand now. So just like on the right, we're going to pull out our dark turquoise and we are going to do a forwards knot with it. And then we'll do the same thing with our dark pink string, our purple, and our beige, or our placeholder color. So how are you guys doing? It's been a long time since I posted, and it's kind of just life stacked up. I got back to work full time since COVID and everything, so that was great. But then we had my boyfriend's family came over, and unfortunately the only space we had to put out the air mattress was in the same room as the computer. So they were sleeping in here and stuff, so I couldn't really edit. And then right off the back of that, went back to work and inherited a position that had kind of, I don't want to say be abandoned, but it was kind of abandoned. So I've been working really hard on that, and then I got sick. So just a piling up of real life. So hopefully you guys are doing better. Now, as you can see here, I took out the pink knot on the right hand side because it's one before where we need to be. So the last knot we should have done on our X band was the beige. So on the right hand side, we're going to continue our blue stripe along the outside of our diamond Celtic knot pattern. So our dark blue is going to do a forwards knot all the way out to the outer group, where it will do a forwards backwards knot. And now that we've reached the outermost side, our dark blue string is going to do a forwards backwards knot over the entire right hand group, which is indicated this time around by the light pink string in the pattern, or in my variation anyways. And at this point, because we know a blue stripe is accompanied by a green stripe, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that minty green color and we're going to carry the stripe all the way down until we reach the placeholder color, where we will do a forwards backwards knot. And now that we've reached our placeholder color, the beige in this case, our green color is going to do a forwards backwards knot over it. But I don't want to get too carried away with just one side, so I've popped back over to the left hand side and I'm going to do the outermost dark blue stripe there as well. So that's just backwards knots all the way out to our beige placeholder color, and then it will do a backwards forwards knot over the entire group. And at this point, that dark blue is going to do a backwards forwards knot over the entire group. And this right here demonstrates kind of why it's so difficult to teach people segment knotting, because there isn't really a rhyme or reason to it. We could have very well gone to that blue string after we did the minty stripe on the other side and followed the stripe there. Instead, we flipped over to the other side, we did our blue stripe, and now we're taking our minty green color and following down that stripe as well. So it is knotting around our light pink, dark turquoise, and so on out to our placeholder color, where it will do a backwards forwards knot so that it is in place to come back in a few knots to give our kind of zigzag effect on our next expand. All right, so popping back up into that inverted chevron part, that isn't knotted, I'm taking the left-hand side dark blue, and I'm going to continue on the left-hand side and do the stripe down the entire length of that mint green until I reach the purple string. And at that point, I am going to do a backwards forwards knot again so that our dark blue string is in place for that zigzag shape that gives us the fancy quality, you know? All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to pop back up to the top here and carry on with the dark blue we could have used before. So we're going to use the dark blue at the top of that unknotted inverted chevron space and go down the length of the mint green stripe on our right hand side. So that dark blue will knot over the light pink, the dark turquoise, the dark pink until it hits the purple string, where it will do its forward backwards knot. But yeah, this is kind of why it's difficult to teach someone segment knotting, because you kind of just find the patterns and do them as you feel like, and everyone will have like a different method of how they remember what line they're on or where they are in the pattern easier. So it changes a bit person to person. All right, now I've taken the top of that inverted unknotted space and knotted our two light pink strings together. And now we're going to do a little baby chevron with our dark turquoise color. So I'm starting on the right hand side of this and I'm doing a backwards knot with my dark turquoise over that light pink. And then popping over to the left hand side, I'm going to do the exact same thing with that dark turquoise, except a forwards knot, of course. And then we reach the center of our baby chevron and we're going to knot those two turquoise strings together. And then we got a little tiny baby chevron. And then we are going to take the light pink color on the right hand side and do a backwards knot over our dark pink color. And we're going to do the same thing because it's mirrored in the center here with our left hand side, where that light pink is going to do a backwards knot over the dark pink. And then we're going to do another baby chevron with our dark pink color. So our dark pink on the left hand side is going to do a forwards knot over that dark turquoise. And on the right hand side, that dark pink is going to do a backwards knot over the turquoise on the right hand side. And when we hit the middle, you could knot it any way you want it. We know, I think I sing the song like every single time. You guys are probably annoyed with how obnoxious I am, but too bad. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to bring our stripes in a bit to contract a bit and make that zigzag shape. So on the left hand side, I'm going to take that dark blue and it's going to do a forwards knot over the light pink and then a forwards backwards knot over the dark turquoise. And of course, we're going to do the same but exact opposite thing on the right hand side. So it'll go the dark blue string will do a backwards knot over the light pink and then a backwards forwards knot over the dark turquoise. Then, because we're already on the right hand side, I'm going to follow up with the mint green and it's going to do a forwards knot over that purple and then a backwards knot over that purple and a backwards forwards knot over that light pink. And again, because I already have these strings set out easier, I'm going to do the right hand side dark blue as well. And I'm going to do a backwards knot over my placeholder color. So in this case, again, that's beige. In the pattern, it is neon green. And then I'm going to do a backwards forwards knot over the dark purple. So before I move all my strings completely to the other side, I'm going to stop in the middle and actually do this next baby chevron before we flip over to the left side. So taking the rightmost inner turquoise, I'm going to do a backwards knot over the dark pink. And then because this is a chevron, we're going to do the exact same but exact opposite thing on the left hand side, which means we're going to take that dark turquoise and do a forwards knot over the pink color and then knot them in the center any way you want. I'm not gonna sing the song, I promise. And then pop over to the left hand side. That was so hard, guys, so hard. Now because we've already done the innermost dark blue on this side, we're starting with our mint color and it's going to do a forwards knot over our purple string and then a forwards backwards knot over our light pink string. So it's set up for our little zigzag shape here, which this is like the easiest shape part in the bracelet, to be honest. Now we're going to go to the leftmost dark blue and it's going to follow suit. So it's going to do a forwards knot over our placeholder color and then a forwards backwards knot over the purple. Oh my gosh, what's awesome about this is you don't want to indent all the way to your innermost string. So that would have been our purple. And our light pink string is the group. So what we actually have to do here is take our beige and do a backwards forwards knot on our left hand side, and then we can continue to expand. that's it for this decrease. So I lost a bit of footage there. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I just did backwards forwards knots with the light pink as well as the dark turquoise. And now we're popping over to the right hand side to do the same as before. So with my beige, I'm going to do a forwards backwards knot, and then I'm going to do the same with the light pink as well as the dark turquoise. And now we have reached the only point in our pattern where we have all of the strings in play. So this is the widest point of the pattern, which is pretty exciting because that means we're halfway through. Whoop whoop. All right, so I'm so obnoxious sometimes. Oh my gosh. So on the rightmost side, we are going to take our dark blue because we know our mint green string needs to be sandwiched. So taking our dark blue, we are going to do our stripe all the way out until our last string, which is a placeholder color indicated in the pattern by a bright red, like a rest me red, like a stop right here red. Okay. So it's just going to do forwards knots until we reach that placeholder color. And now that we've reached that outermost color, like I said, we are going to do a forwards backwards knot with our dark blue. And then because we have parallel stripes, we're going to go back and we're going to grab that mint green string, and it's going to follow that stripe all the way down to our dark turquoise color, where it's going to do a forwards backwards knot. All right, so like I said, we're going to take this mint green now, and it's going to do a forwards backwards knot over the dark turquoise. Just fixing things up as we go. And of course, the mint green is going to be followed by that dark blue again. So the dark blue is going to do the exact same thing, following that stripe with forwards knots over the light pink, purple, placeholder until it reaches our light pink color again, where it's going to do a forwards backwards knot right beside that mint color. And now that we're at this light pink color, we're going to do that forwards backwards knot with our dark blue. And pop over to the left side and do everything we just did. So on our left hand side, that dark blue is going to do backwards knots down the outside of our bracelet all the way out to our placeholder, where it will do a backwards forwards knot. And now that we're at that outermost placeholder color, again indicated by that bright red in the pattern, we're going to do our backwards forwards knot. And then just like every other dark blue stripe, we're going to go ahead and grab that mint green and follow that stripe down just like we just did on the other side. Doing backwards knots until we reach that dark turquoise color, where we'll do a backwards forwards knot. And now that we're at the dark turquoise, as I just said, we're going to do a backwards forwards knot and then go ahead and grab the inner dark blue here on the left hand side and do the exact same thing, following that stripe down until we reach the light pink. So our dark blue string is now going to do a backwards forwards knot, you guessed it, over the light pink. So we're ready for our decrease, but we have to do everything in the center first. So grabbing the rightmost dark pink string, it's going to do a forwards knot over our light pink string. And while I have the pink in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and grab the purple out and do a backwards knot. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Over the dark pink, and then our dark pink is going to do a forwards backwards knot over the mint green color. So at this point, we're going to pop up to the center of our knotting space again, and the rightmost light pink is going to do a backwards knot over our turquoise color. And then we're going to pop over to the left-hand side and do part of what we just did. So I'm going to take my dark pink color and I'm going to do a backwards knot over my light pink string. And then because I have the light pink in my hand here, I'm going to go ahead and finish the top chevron portion of our little baby X in the middle of our pattern here. So that's doing a forwards knot over the dark turquoise and then knotting both of our light pinks together. At this point, I'm favoring the right hand side and popping back over to that dark turquoise color where I'm going to do a forwards backwards knot over the dark purple, and then I can grab that light pink and satisfyingly finish the little baby X in the middle. Okay, that's what my goal is. So now I'm popping back over to the left hand side and grabbing that purple color. Because we didn't do this when we popped over last time, I'm going to do a forwards knot over the dark pink. And I've kind of started knotting in a chevron shape here. So now rather than do the dark pink again, I'm grabbing that turquoise color and I'm doing a forwards backwards knot, or sorry, a backwards forwards knot over the purple string. And then I can grab my light pink color and finally put that last knot in that little baby X. Yeah, look how teeny tiny and cute it is. Yes. And then I'm going to knot together my two dark turquoise colors. Honestly, chevrons are kind of the shape that my go-to like segment knotting shape. Even if a pattern doesn't super lean towards chevron, I generally lean towards it. So now I'm going to take my dark purple color on the right hand side and I'm going to do a forwards knot over the dark pink. And then using my dark pink, I'm going to do a backwards knot over the light pink. Again, this is kind of following that chevron shape. So now I've taken my dark turquoise and I've done a forwards knot over my dark pink, but now there's no dark pink to do the knot in the center. So we pop over to the left and our dark pink does a backwards forwards knot over our placeholder color. And then our purple is going to do a backwards knot over the dark pink. And then the dark pink is going to do a forwards knot over the light pink. And then we're actually going to complete a little baby chevron again, a little baby inverted chevron, by taking the dark turquoise and doing a backwards knot over our dark pink. And then we can finally knot these two dark pinks in the center. All right, now we're going to pop to the right hand side, and with the innermost dark blue, we're going to start doing our stripe. So it's going to do backwards knots all the way into our dark turquoise color, where it's going to do then a backwards forwards knot. And reaching our dark turquoise, we'll do that backwards forwards knot, and then pop up to our mint color because parallel stripes, that's why. So taking our mint green color, we're going to follow that stripe all the way down to our light pink. And at the light pink, we're going to do a backwards forwards knot. So we're setting up for the zigzag on the decreasing side of our pattern. So at the light pink, we'll do our, again, backwards forwards knot, and then pop up to the leftmost, or sorry, the rightmost, oh my gosh, I don't even know my directions anymore. My rightmost dark blue, follow that stripe in with backwards knots to that purple color. Now that we're at that purple color, we're of course going to do a backwards forwards knot. As y'all guessed, you already knew it. which is super, super exciting because now we can start to decrease on this side. So I'm going to take the dark turquoise and I am going to do just a backwards or a forwards knot. I don't even know anymore. A forwards knot, and then grouping it in with our beige string, we're going to take our light pink and it's going to do a forwards knot over that small group. Adding it into the bunch, we're then going to take our beige color and do a forwards backwards knot. Again, because we need that string on the inside. And then while I'm here and have the strings in place already, I'm going to grab that dark blue from the right hand side and I'm going to do a forwards knot with it. Just like so, and then I'm actually going to knot over the entire group while I'm here as well with a forwards backwards knot. Et voila, another shaping part done. So let's grab that mint green and follow that stripe in, doing a forwards knot over our purple color and then a forwards backwards knot over our placeholder color. Beautiful. And of course, that's got to be followed by another dark blue stripe. So grabbing the next dark blue on our right hand side, we're going to follow that stripe again, and our dark blue is going to do a forwards knot over the light pink and then a forwards backwards knot over the purple color. So 1, 2, forwards, I want to say shoe because that's what rhymes, but that doesn't make any sense. Forwards, backwards knot here on the dark purple. Oh, guys, it's looking so good. All right, now popping into the center here, we're going to finish the pink baby chevron. So on the rightmost dark pink, we're going to do a forwards knot over our dark turquoise. And then carrying on, because my strings are already in a good place to do so, I'm going to take my light pink and I'm going to do a backwards knot over that dark pink string. And then finally, we're going to pop over to the left-hand side, take the innermost dark blue and start our inward stripe. So that's going to do forwards knots until we reach the turquoise string. And then, of course, we're going to take that dark blue and, you guessed it, do a forwards backwards knot over our dark turquoise. Now, because we're already in the center here and the strings are split nicely, I'm going to go ahead and finish that baby pink chevron by taking that dark pink on the left-hand side and doing a backwards knot over the dark turquoise color. And then I'm going to pop over to the mint green color on our leftmost side and continue to do that stripe following the dark blue one we just did. So that's forward knots until we reach the light pink color where we will do a forwards backwards knot. And now we're going to take our mint green and it's going to do a forwards backwards knot over our light pink color. So it's ready to do its little zigzag. And then we're going to pop back over to the leftmost side, grab that dark blue, and follow that green stripe, doing forwards knots until we reach our purple string. And then that dark blue is going to do a forwards backwards knot. Oh my gosh, you guessed? You guys are so smart. I feel like a broken record on repeat. Okay, so now we're going to start the decrease shaping of the left-hand side. So our turquoise color is going to just do a backwards knot over the beige. And then we're going to group those two together and we're going to grab the light pink and do the exact same thing. And then remember, because it's the second most inner color, our beige is going to do a backwards forwards knot. So with our placeholder color indicated by the bright green in the pattern, we're going to do our backwards forwards knot. Oh, it's looking so good. That's one thing about this pattern. The shaping always messes my head up, and I have to think about it so hard for the shaping because this is only the second shaped bracelet. This is the third shaped bracelet, the one I'm making in the video, the second shaped pattern I've ever made, and it still gets my mind twisted up. So don't feel bad if you're confused. Now taking that dark blue, I'm going to go ahead and do my backwards knot over my placeholder color. And then my backwards forwards knot over the entire group, indicated by the light pink string in the pattern. Yes, look, it's starting to look so good. And that's one thing about this pattern. It definitely looks good. It just twists my mind all the time. The amount of times I had to cut out pausing and me just like deciphering the pattern, going like, wait, do I need to tie this way or what? Is insane. Anyways, we're going to pop back up to that mint color and again follow the stripes. So it's going to do a backwards knot over the purple and then a backwards forwards knot over our placeholder color. And then because that likes to be in a sandwich, we're going to grab our innermost left hand side dark blue. And we're going to do a backwards knot over our light pink and then a backwards forwards knot over our purple color. Yes, looking sharp. All right, now on this left hand side, we're going to take our light pink color and we're going to do a forwards knot over our dark pink, mimicking what we did on the other side there already. Now popping into the very center, we're gonna grab the two center dark turquoise and knot them together and do another baby inverted chevron. So on the left hand side, your turquoise string will do a backwards knot over that light pink color. And on the right hand side, it will do a forwards knot over that light pink color. Now we're at a point in the pattern where the bottom is reaching into the top to repeat the knotting structure. So our two middle light pink strings are going to knot together. And despite this being the bottom of our like center shape, it's actually the very top of the bracelet book pattern. Then I'm going to jump to the right hand side here and I'm going to grab the innermost dark blue and do backwards knots all the way in to the center of the bracelet. And I'm going to repeat that on the left hand side. Grabbing the innermost dark blue string, I'm going to do forwards knots all the way into the center of the pattern, closing off this space with a chevron and encasing all those baby chevrons and all that pattern in the middle there in between our stripes, and closing it all in. It just looks so good. So good. And if you're still here, like almost 50 minutes into this video, like gold stars for you. If you pieced out because you already figured out the rest of it, well, that's cool too. I don't blame you. It's okay. Now we're going to pop back over to that right hand side, grab our minty green string and follow our stripe. And we're going to take this all the way until we knot over our light pink string, and then we're going to stop. Because at that point is where we're introducing into the twist again that we have at the start of our pattern. So we need to cross over with our dark blue. So since we're already in the center, we're going to grab that dark blue and we're going to do a forwards knot over the mint green we were just knotting with. And now we're going to pop back over to the rightmost side, grab that outermost dark blue and follow that stripe in so we close off this side of the green stripe. And we're going to take it all the way in to our dark blue color. And as I said, we're now reaching into the top of the bracelet book pattern. So if you're following along using the pattern and you're going, where the heck are we? That is where we are, friends. Now on the leftmost side, we're going to grab our mint color and follow it all the way down until it knots over the other mint string. And then actually we knot it over the next dark blue as well, because like I said, we're in the twist that we see at the top of our pattern, and our leftmost green string passes over top of the other stripe in kind of a Celtic knot sort of twisted effect. So just forwards knots over the dark blue here. Again over the minty green. I actually really like this mint color. I wish I had more of it. Me. Oh well. Maybe one day I'll find it again. And then popping to the leftmost side, we'll grab that outermost dark blue and follow the stripe in as well, all the way until we hit the innermost dark blue. Now at this point we need to do some shaping, so we need to decrease in now. So starting on the right hand side, I'm going to grab my beige and I'm going to do just a forwards knot over that entire group of string and then add it to the group as you do in a shaped bracelet. And then we're going to follow that up with the purple. Again, just forwards knot. It's the innermost string that is the most important to not do as just a forwards knot. So taking our dark pink as well, is going to just do a forwards knot. And then our dark turquoise. I keep saying dark turquoise. It's the only turquoise in the bracelet. I don't need to define it as dark. So the turquoise, oh my gosh. And then our light pink is the second most from our inner blue knot, so it's going to do a forwards backwards knot. And on the left hand side we are going to do the same thing, shaping our bracelet. So our placeholder color, our beige, is going to do a backwards knot over the entire group. And then we're going to add it to the group and move on to our purple string. And we're going to do the exact same thing with it, doing a backwards knot over the entire group. And then adding it in, doing the same with the, excuse me, the pink and the turquoise until we hit that light pink color. All right, now our light pink, of course, is going to do a backwards forwards knot because we will need to knot on it right away here. And at this point, because my strings are already separated, I will grab the outermost dark blue on the left hand side and go ahead and do that backwards knot over the light pink color. And then flipping over to the right hand side, I am going to do the exact same thing, except for mirrored. So it's going to be a forwards knot with the outermost right hand side dark blue over that light pink color. Look at that, guys. Oh, it looks so good. Yes, look at us go. Okay. But now we need to expand out again. And I'm just carrying on at this point because the top we did the triangle start on. So I just want to make sure you guys get the whole pattern in here. So our turquoise string is going to do a backwards knot into the center off of our grouping. And then we'll do the same with our dark pink string. And because we're already on the right hand side here, I'm going to grab the outermost dark blue and I'm going to go ahead and do our outermost stripe. So forwards knots over the dark turquoise, as well as I said dark turquoise again. Oh my gosh. I've been saying that the whole video. At this point, the video is almost done. Like, our pattern's almost done. So what am I even doing? I'm not even going to correct myself anymore. Over the turquoise, and then a forwards knot over the pink, and then a forwards backwards knot over that entire outer group. And again, we meet parallel stripes. So grabbing our minty green string, the rightmost side there, we're going to follow that blue stripe until we hit our dark pink string, where we will do a forwards backwards knot. So yes, I don't make a lot of patterns with the stripes like this. I don't make a ton of normal patterns. They're not my favorite thing to do. If I'm making normal patterns, they're normally kind of on the basic side and just kind of brainless, because that's what I want them for. But I understand why people like these patterns, especially if you're a segment knotter. It makes them so easy to do because it's just a lot of lines. All right, now of course, that lovely mint color is going to be sandwiched by this dark blue. So grabbing the innermost right hand side dark blue, we are going to follow that stripe again, doing forwards knots until we hit our dark turquoise color, where we do a forwards backwards knot. Yes, looking good. And you guys know I'm a big advocate for manipulating and adjusting knots as you see them out of place. So I'm sure, as I said at the start, this is an advanced tutorial, so I'm sure you guys already know that, but I digress. It's hard to break habits, okay? So on the left hand side, we're going to do our expansion. So our turquoise string is doing a forwards knot into the center off of the group. And then we're doing the same with our dark pink. And our outermost left hand side dark blue is going to do our stripe all the way out to our purple string, which is the entire group. And over the entire group, it's going to do a backwards forwards knot. And then with our mint color on the left hand side there, we're going to do a backwards knot over our light pink and a backwards knot over our dark turquoise, and then finally a backwards forwards knot over our dark pink. Looking good guys. Now we're going to take our other dark blue and we're going to do a backwards knot over our light pink, a backwards knot over, or actually a backwards forwards knot rather, over our dark turquoise. Yes. And now we're going to take our two light pinks in the very middle of the bracelet and knot them together. And now we're technically into the start of our video again. So at this point, we're going to speed through this next bit of the twist. But that's it, guys. So if you enjoyed this, I hope it wasn't too confusing. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like more large segment knotting patterns, also let me know. And until next time, guys, I will see you all then. Bye!